So, Adam Hale, Matthew Murray, how are you, my friend?
Excellent, man. So another episode of the Insurance Man podcast Don't Shoot. Here with my good friend, Matt Murray. And excited, man. We should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you this, and I say this sincerely and transparently. When there's a couple people that I look up to in the insurance business, and I'd say on my hand, it's probably about 5 people. You're one of those people that, we couldn't work together because of, Lincoln Heritage is subjugated into different marketplaces, right? But I'd see you on the leaderboard, I'd see you online, and just how you handle yourself is something that I kind of want to be myself, or I try to be. And so you're one of the people that I really look up to in the business a lot. So,
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. That means a lot.
yeah.
So for anybody that doesn't know who you are, tell us who Matt Murray is.
Well, for the shortest story possible, I'm actually from LA, but not Los Angeles. I'm from Lower Arkansas, which is a great joke for I'm just saying I'm super Southern. And I've been on the East Coast my entire life. I dropped out of high school 3 times and never went to college. And I've been in the business for about a decade, worked in the final expense business, same company, Lincoln Heritage with you, and I ended up working for insurance companies and helped scale a very large IMO that sold for $100 million back in 2022. And then started my own IMO after I realized I was on the wrong side of the paperwork, so to speak, right? And so I was very blessed with how I went through it. Did I make $100 million? No. Did I make $2 million doing it? No. But what I did get is a lot of relationships, and I got a lot of respect from a lot of colleagues, and I got a lot of opportunities from that respect. So the way I went about my business is probably a way that not many people have done. I've made a lot of other people a lot of money, but now it's my turn, and I get to do it again, but I get to do it my way. And the Frank Sinatra song, "My Way" is one of my favorite songs. So I'm finally getting to do it my way. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. What was your role there? Like, what was your role and what was like your day to day?
Yeah. So my role, I started as a national sales trainer because we were doing mostly final expense and mortgage protection at the time and final expense annuities. So I started as a national sales trainer. It was about 6 months later, they figured out that I knew how to do Facebook marketing or internet marketing. And they're like, "Why didn't you tell us that?" So I'm like, "Because no one asked." You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you everything I know because, I know this sounds stupid, but like whenever I have a job, I tell you one good idea a year because I'm not going to give you everything because then you don't need me anymore. Right.
Yeah.
But, they quickly found out I knew how to do Facebook marketing. And then it became, okay, I'm making a lot of leads. We started generating leads, selling leads, and that obviously increased the sales side of things. So over time, it became, I never really had an official title. They just were like, "What do you want to be called?" And I'm like, "Director of Sales and Marketing" sounds really fancy for LinkedIn. But my day to day, I hired a lot of people at the home office and we would create systems, me and a couple other people. And I'd kind of view it as like, we have these tops that we're spinning. And eventually once these tops are spinning, I can't do that forever because I have other stuff I have to do. And then I would hire people locally here using my own social media. And I'm like, "Hey, this is how I'm spinning this top. I need you to spin this top." And so we'd build these systems and continue building more systems until everything was flourishing. On top of that, I've been doing the social media game and giving back to the industry for a long time. And so I was a big recruiter for them too. So a lot of times we'd have people fly in every single week. I'd be the guy to go pick them up at the airport, take them around town, take them to the beach, take them to the office, give them the whole tour. And by the time we were done with the tour, the people are like, "Man, this is like one of the greatest places." And they're pretty much ready to move their contracts to us. And that's how we did a lot of our recruiting.
If you don't mind me asking, what was, whenever you first started doing their Facebook advertising, their online advertising, what were leads looking like at that point in time? What year was that? And what was
Yeah. So I came on board 19. And so I would say it was like right around 2020 is when I moved to the home office and they figured out I knew how to do Facebook ads. It was definitely different. And when I got started, it was 2016. I mean, Adam, I could talk about local leads for $1. I mean, I could find a local lead for $1 and I could do some really weird stuff. Like, I only want to see like this subjugated amount of people in this 1 mile zip code. I would, it sounds so stupid, but like I would take a 1 mile radius and I would a 5 mile radius, but then I'd put 4 or 5 other ones around it and say exclude. So I'd only put it down to 1 mile radius. So I'm only working in a 1 mile radius and we'd get leads for $1. And so that's how I did it when I first started. It's completely changed, right? It's completely changed, and how how people are doing business has changed a lot, but it was almost like I couldn't miss when I first started advertising on Facebook, right? if I could give any secret sauce to anybody that might watch this, the secret that I would say is I never thought about what I wanted out of the ad. I viewed it as what the consumer is viewing. So when I was taking flights, I didn't look at my own phone. I looked at other people looking at their phone and how they viewed their phone, how they scroll. Does that make sense? And so I learned the psychology of people. And then I was in the senior space. And so I really understood the senior space. And here's the big secret, Adam. Every time that I would sit down with one of my clients, this was my entire sales brief. This is what I did at Lincoln Heritage. I'm no longer work there, so I can't get in trouble anymore. But I'd say, look, Mary, I know that you want to buy some life insurance to cover your burial expenses because you filled this form out on Facebook. Like, why else would I be here? Right? What I want to know is what on this phone, what on this advertisement stuck out to you. So a lot of my sales presentations was learning what about my advertisement was working and not working. And I did hundreds of applications the same exact way.
What were some of the main things that you were hearing, that main feedback that was working versus what was not working?
Bold text was something that stood out because if you look at any Facebook right now, a lot of the text is the same. And so anything that stood out as far as like a bold text, and most people don't even know you can bold text on Facebook. So you can do a quick Google and type copy paste, Facebook text, and you can make things bold. That stood out. The picture was the main thing and the headline was the main thing. And the headline that worked the most, Adam, was you're going to want to click here.
Yeah. Just telling them.
Telling them, click here. Not click here. You are going to want to click here. And so it's kind of like the phone is speaking to them, right? And they would like, yeah, I'll just follow. They kind of like, I'm just going to follow the direction, right? And so I would make my advertisements that would be like, okay, I'm going to show you one, but here's an ad, right? So the way that people's brains work is they look here, then they're going to look up. And right there at the top is see that see more button? It's kind of backwards because we're backwards here.
Yeah.
Most people never hit the see more. And so people that are doing their advertisements, they have this long text that they think is fantastic to tell all about the thing that they're trying to sell. People don't read it. You have that little bit of room. Can't see it now. You have that little bit amount of room that will make sense to them about what it's about. So the picture is the big thing, the picture that grabs attention, right? We're scrolling through Facebook. Picture it like we're driving down the street. And the advertisement or something that's going to stick out to you is what gets you to stop. That's your stop sign. Or so maybe your yellow sign, right? Because not many people stop. When we do stop, what do we see? We got just a few seconds to hold their attention. Once we're holding their attention, we need to direct their attention somewhere else, which is you need to click here.
Yeah.
Once they're in the way that Facebook ads work, gosh, I'm going to go deep here. The way that Facebook ads work, if you do it in the lead ad form, it would immerse you inside of it. There's no loading page. It would already kind of preload the ad. And so it feels very fluid to the consumer. And it's just like, oh, here's a few questions. Click, click, click. A lot of the stuff is pre-filled because most of our data is already on Facebook. Submit. And then the other trick is instead of sending them to a web page to book a calendar link, I would just say, hey, go back to Facebook. And it would just take them right back to their Facebook feed and they continue to scroll.
And when you're doing that, do you still prefer like a Facebook form versus going to a landing page?
Yes, I still prefer it. They have changed a little bit for the good. There's good and bad, right? So the good is it's very inlaid. It's already pre-populated. It's kind of preloaded, right? So when you're scrolling through Facebook, you got to picture it like a very long CVS receipt. This could just go on for years, right? I mean, how long have you spent scrolling through Facebook one day, right? You don't even realize you're doing it. It's just years and years and years, and it's loading faster than you can scroll it, right? That's the algorithm, so to speak. Well, when it gets to your advertisement, it's already preloaded the Facebook form. So it's, again, very fluid, very fluid. But if your page, if you go to a separate page, how many times have you clicked on an ad and it took more than 2 seconds and you went, I'm done with this thing. I'm out.
Yeah.
Right. And if that's you, think about a senior citizen, right? Think about our clients, even less, right? So I would still use it today. I still do. The bad part is everything is pre-filled, right? So how many times have you changed your phone number in the last 10 years, right? I know the number that I got when I first had my Facebook has changed. I know the email that I first put. My first email address was TTAMAN911, which is Matt spelled backwards, man911 at yahoo.com. I don't have that email address anymore, right?
Yeah.
But that pre-fills automatically when I click on a Facebook form, right? So you're going to get some bad data. And the statistics show about 70%, 17% is going to be bad data somewhere, right? What they've done to counteract that is the two-step authentication inside the thing where you can click, I want to get a text message, and it'll send a text message to that person's phone right then where they have to put in a little code. That's going to get you a better phone number. Now we're getting into the why in the world aren't people answering the phone anymore? We can talk about that all day long if you'd like to, Adam, because things have changed, right? Things have changed drastically. And I'm on the side where I still believe and I hope that agents should still go see people face to face. I'm a believer in the phone. I've done lots of phone calls, but as a society, our technology, AI, is changing so rapidly. And it's hard for us to keep up for people who are emerging in it. But for our senior citizens, our final expense clients, why should we have to make them keep up with the technology? They don't want to.
Yeah.
Right. And because of how much data has been leaked and or resold, or, someone's filled out their form one time, agents nowadays are just sticking it into a dialer, put it into an AI system, and it's just calling that person over and over and over and over. And they're not going to pick up the phone as much. But those people, Adam, still need to be seen.
They still need coverage, right?
Still need coverage.
They still have a need.
And I'm going to give you the greatest door knocking script of all time.
Let's hear it.
You ready?
Yep.
I don't know if you can hear that or not.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Adam. Matthew, how are you? Hey, you filled out this form on Facebook, or you put this postcard back in the mail. I tried calling you at the number that you put down right here, but you're probably like most people. You don't answer numbers you don't know, do you?
Yeah, I don't.
That's why I'm here. I tried calling. It'll take me about 5 or 10 minutes to go over it. Let's go ahead and knock it out.
Simple, straight to the point. Yep.
Right. I'm bringing up the fact that you did this. You for sure did this. You put down your number, and I'm verifying you did. This is your number, right?
Yeah.
I tried calling. Even though if I didn't, right? I tried calling. I really will try to call. But you are probably like most people. And most people, for some reason, they want to be like most people. And you don't answer numbers you don't know, do you? I'm giving them a very obvious answer, yes. Right? Yeah. Okay, great. It's going to take me about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm already here. Let's go ahead and knock it out. And then I'm hard to say this, past the person, right? I'm not looking to say, hey, can I come in? I'm looking past. Let's go ahead and knock it out. And I'm already we're going in the house.
Yeah.
Right? That's just like, it's psychology, right?
Yeah.
It works. It works so well. And people are like, yeah, okay, I guess. There's really not a whole lot of pushback, right? The only thing that I have is, well, now's not really, I'm walking out of the house. No, you weren't. You got your moo on, right? What is it about again? And I handle the card. You put that back in the mail. I'm the guy that's supposed to get it to you. I thought I was going to put it in the mail. I tried fitting in the mailbox. I didn't fit. I had too many sandwiches last week. Agents that know how to door knock today is like a superpower.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, we probably see 90% of our applicants that are applying now only want to sell over the phone. They only want to work from home. They don't want to door knock. Just literally right before you started, I was talking to one of my managers because, we get a lot of recruits that after COVID, but what that does is, a lot of people did move the phones. It opens it back up, right? How many phone agents are running direct mail? I don't know any that are doing it successfully, is at least based on our conversion rates from direct mail, because you're always going to have a percentage that don't even have a phone number no matter what. And they're not cheap to produce those.
No, they're not. No, they're not. One thing I've learned over the last 8 years of marketing is ad costs are going to continue to go up, whether it be direct mail, whether it be Facebook, whether it be telemarketing leads, whether it be direct from consumer inbounds, right? It's just going to continue to rise.
Mm-hmm.
And all we have to do as agents, it's very simple. Adam, Matthew, if I was going to pay you $125,000 a year to sit in front of and have the same conversation with 18 to 20 people a week, and I gave you 30 people that wanted to sit down with you and said they're interested, and you had 45 hours a week to do it, you think you could do it?
100%.
That's the whole job.
Yeah, seriously. Definitely simplifying it. We've always told people that if you got to sit with at least, if you want to make 6 figures, find a way to sit with 15 people, right? And for us, the leads are the low hanging fruit. These are people that have a genuine interest, a genuine need. And it's something that I think, as more people move to the phone, I think it does help on the direct mail side. It does help on the door knocking side. They're getting less people that are showing up to the house. In our market here in California, like when I started, they literally told me, we don't have any room for you. And I was like, well, I already passed my test, already got contract. And I was like, what does that mean? They're like, we don't have any leads. You're going to have to be willing to drive. Right. And so my normal day was, on a good day, I might be an hour away from home, but a lot of days I was 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but I always had enough leads in those areas to where it made it worth the drive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I got, hey, here's 30 people right now that want to go be seen.
Yeah.
You got all week to sit down with these people.
Yeah.
And I'll pay you 125, 300. Everybody would do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't take the deal of 125 grand and you went and saw these people, you'll make over 125,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I like to simplify things, and the business is simple. Seniors have requested you, the agent, to come out and see them. And it's I'll use a really funny analogy. It's like if you were to order a pizza. What's a famous pizza place in California? Like a Papa John's, like what's the go-to, right? I don't know. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Domino's, right?
Yeah. Domino's, that works.
But instead of spaghetti, instead of sauce, I want peanut butter. And instead of cheese, I want half-cooked spaghetti noodles. And instead of pepperonis, I want gumballs. We'd all agree it's a pretty weird pizza.
Yeah.
Less than 1% of people would ever even attempt, to order that pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you did it. And then the pizza delivery guy, knocked on your door. And I go, hey, Adam, I got this really weird pizza for you. And you looked at me and you said, I didn't do that. I would look at you like you're crazy, because the only reason I'm here is because you did this. Direct mail is the same way. Less than 1% of people will put their personal information on a piece of paper and put it back in the mail and lick an envelope and put the flag up. When the mindset changes for the agent that like how serious a direct mail lead is, it makes you understand how big the opportunity is in the market. And again, like you said, direct mail is hard to come by. It costs a whole lot to create a great direct mail piece, probably $40-$45 a lead right now, but people are doing it. There's not a whole lot of them, and your opportunity is endless.
Yeah. Well, we've built our whole agency on direct mail. It's been the backbone to almost $200 million. And it's, again, like you said, it's not gotten any cheaper, but it's one of the most valuable, right? Like when I first started, TV was great. And running TV leads, the conversion rates were phenomenal, but you had no control of where they came in at, right? They're running national advertising. You might get one in 2 hours away. You might get another one an hour away. You didn't have the control. With the direct mail that you're currently running, are you running just a standard direct mail piece? Are you running any type of gift card direct mail? What is it that you typically run?
Well, I won't put this person's personal information on here, but I could do a full page in color Walmart lead, but it's a survey lead. So what I mean by that is like, for participating in this survey, we're going to get you a Walmart gift card. And I developed it a little bit around psychology because, again, I know that a lot of agents have this weird thing where they can't bring up insurance, even though they're there about insurance, right? Mm-hmm. And they don't know how to go into the insurance portion. So on this, I made it very simple where I say, I'll show you some of these questions here. What is your age? And instead of it being, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I put brackets 45 to 54, 55 to 64, 65 to 74, then 75 to 85 plus. What is the obvious follow-up question to what is your age that when they put a bracket?
What you're talking about? They're going to check.
They're going to check one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I'm sitting down with this person, I'm going, well, it says you're 75 to 85. What's your birthday?
Yeah.
Right? Very simple follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's this. That's a great birthday. It says, you do own a life insurance policy. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. And it says what type of policy? Not sure. So you're unsure type policy you have. What's the follow-up thing to that?
I'd ask them, can you grab it or who's it with?
Go grab it for me.
Let's look at it.
So now I'm already talking about insurance, right? So it's very fluid for me and the agents that I'm working with to start bringing up the conversation about insurance instead of feeling like, man, that's a really nice picture of your cat that you have on the wall. Why did you fill this out? There's that awkwardness that I'd see some of the agents. I don't have that awkwardness because I'm there for a reason, right? But I try to build my lead around making it easier for the agents to start talking about this insurance stuff. And then it says, check all the things that you're interested in: term life, whole life, burial insurance, critical illness, final expenses, and children insurance, et cetera, et cetera. And then are you currently employed, disabled, retired? And do you have anything that protects you from critical illnesses like cancer, heart attack, stroke? Because we cross-sell Now, like I kind of told you before we got on here, before we started recording, that, I'm still a final expense nut, but I learned that there's Medicare available, and that there is critical illness. There's a cancer, heart attack, and stroke plan. Because sometimes when I'm sitting with somebody, let's say I ran across a policy that you sold 10 years ago, Adam, and I'm sitting with that person. That plan's a good plan. They've got some cash value built up to it. That person's sicker than they were before. They probably won't qualify for a new plan. Okay. Hey, the one that Adam Hale got you, fantastic plan. I wouldn't touch that at all. If I only sold final expense, I can try to sell you more, right? But maybe not. Well, it says that you're interested in also covering some heart attack, stroke, and cancer, right? Too. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever had a heart attack, stroke, or anything like that? No, I haven't had anything like that. Okay. Well, you should be able to qualify for something like that. It's actually relatively cheap. Policies running between like 25, maybe $40 a month. Is that comfortable or outrageous? And I learned that one from somebody else who worked at Lincoln Heritage, Damon Dillard. Comfortable and outrageous is such two, different words, right? And it's weird to say the word, that's outrageous. So a lot of times the word that you get, well, that's comfortable. Well, now I have a budget, and now I'm able to quote them for cancer, heart attack, stroke policy. I can look at a hospital indemnity plan. I can look at other different types of policies, not just final expense. So the lead that I'm running is final expense focused. I want it to be final expense, but it gives opportunities, kind of trees out into other things with how the lead has made.
What would you estimate, since you're cross-selling all this, different products, what would you estimate for every 10 clients, how many of those 10 clients are you actually cross-selling something else, whether it be Medicare or cancer policy?
That's a really good question. I would say it's over 50%.
Over 50%?
Yeah, over 50% into something. Out of 10 policies that we're selling, the way that we bring up Medicare is, hey, we also take care of help people save money on their prescription drugs. I don't know if you have Medicare Parts A and B. I do. Okay. If you have your red, white, and blue card, we can talk about it at a different time. Here's a scope of appointment. If you bring it up every single time, you'll get 2 sales out of 10. Every single time.
You get 2 out of 10?
Yeah, absolutely. If you bring up the cancer, heart attack, and stroke, if you bring up a dental plan, every single time, hospital indemnity plan, if they have a Medicare plan, but they're in the best plan, did you cover the gaps with your thing? What do you mean? Well, let me pull up my quota. You see, here's where your out of pockets are going to hit. Do you want to be responsible for if that happens to you? No. Well, this plan right here is going to cover all those gaps. It's going to be about $45 a month. If an agent just learns how to quote it, I'd say over 50%, you'll cross-sell into another product.
What do plans like that pay? I'm completely foreign. It's all foreign to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're good. Indemnity, you're looking about 60%, right? But the renewals are very strong. Final expense, let's just call it, I don't know what it would be for you guys, but like, you get your bigger upfront commissions with your 75% advance, you get your 10, 11, 12, but then usually the trailing is between 10 years to life and the 1% to 2% sometimes at the end. A lot of these plans have renewals for life, and the renewals would be like 12%. It's not as much upfront money, right? But when you've got Medicare agents who are selling a plan that doesn't cost anything and they won't get paid on it until January or February, you still need go money.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's really easy to push that. And that's why we sell final expense first. We sell final expense first. I want people to make their go money. And then we sell Medicare and the other health products on the back end for your retirement money or your wealth building.
So if an agent's doing all those things effectively, let's say that they made $100,000 their first year in final expense, how much more should they make with those additional products if they're cross-selling every client they sell with?
Yeah. If you're average like me, it'll take you between 2 to 4 years to build $100,000 renewal.
To have where you're at $100,000 a year coming in.
Renewal. Correct. Not just on your, your upfront on your final expenses, you're upfront on your final expense, right? That's your go money.
Yeah.
If you're average and you learn how to cross sell pretty much everybody, 2 to 4 years if you suck.
And you're making $8,000 a month guaranteed residual income plus whatever you sell.
Got it.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
No, it's fantastic. And, again, I'm a final expense nut, right? But I wanted to see it for myself. And, I use my younger brother as a prime example. He got started in 2020, in March of 2020, which is at the height of COVID, right?
Yeah.
And so nobody went out in the field, blah, blah, blah. It was all kind of going to the phones. And he was just selling final expense for about a year and a half. And then he got into Medicare. He makes a little over $100,000 a year. And he's not that, I mean, he's good. He's getting better, right? But he's average like me, right? And he just learned how to cross sell. He took his book of business that he sold over a couple of years, went back through all those clients and said, hey, I'm also doing Medicare. Guess what? Completely compliant to do that with your book of business. He got his first 75 policies really, really simply. Then he just learned how to cross sell every single person, and he was doing 4 a week.
Yeah.
And then during AP, he'd do about 75, maybe 100. Once you get to that $325, 325 client mark, you get $100,000 in renewal.
That's awesome.
So it's just like, you're slowly filling that pipeline one client at a time. And I tell people, just get you a big whiteboard. And every time you make a Medicare sale, cross one off. And once you get there, kind of like you'll never have to worry about money again.
So for like an agent, I have agents in my agency that have sold, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 plus clients, right? Like, what do you think that would mean to them in Medicare renewals?
5,000?
Well, it's like, well, let's say they sold what you think it was one out of, or 2 out of 10?
About 20%.
About
2 out of 10 is about 20% is if you again, just bringing it up and just being average, right?
Yeah.
So let's say they got 4,000 apps on the final expense side and they cross sold 20%, 800 clients. You're going to have a natural attrition, meaning like people are going to die, people are going to fall off for whatever reason, of around 20%. So we'll take another 20% off. So you've got 800 minus 160. What is that?
So 640
minus 640. 640 times 325 is $208,000 a year
in residual. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then again, they're your clients, they're your book of business, right? So here's where it gets crazy. Final expense side, and you know this as well as I do, is we're going to sit down, we're going to have a conversation. And if we done correctly, you may never see me again. Right? Yeah. Every once in a while, I'm still going to stop by and say hello, but like final expense agents aren't known for following up, right? They're not known for keeping in touch with their clients the best. On the Medicare side, things change every single year, right? And so where it gets dicey on the Medicare side, and maybe I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here. It's not like you just have 3,000 clients and you don't have to do any work, right? All those clients need to be seen. Sometimes they don't need to change their plan, but you need to look into their plan every single year and say, hey, we need to make a decision. Do you want to move into this plan or do you want to go into the same plan? Let's still work, right? But you know where your work's going to come from, right? So where agents get it wrong is they think, okay, I'm going to get to 800 clients and then I can just sit and do nothing all day long. No, you're going to have clients calling you all day long. Now my little brother has a little over 400, maybe 500 clients. Most of his day right now was spent going through his current book of business in referrals from his people, because I know it sounds crazy. And I don't get a whole lot of referrals on my final expense side. Sometimes I do, but not a whole lot. He gets referrals all day long.
From the Medicare side.
But again, the more clients you have, the busier you will be as an agent keeping up with your book of business.
So for agents that are doing that, like let's say you have 1,000 clients, or at what point, how many clients, or are people leveraging, let's say hiring someone that's licensed to come in and help service their book, or what are most big shops doing?
Yep. So the number for me that I found is about 350 to 400, maybe 450 clients is where you need to hire somebody to become your sidekick, right? That's going to help take a lot of those phone calls and be part of your team, like your true assistant, not somebody overseas, right? Hire in the US, become a local hometown hero, give somebody a job, pay them $35,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, and then continue going out. What happens is this: those clients that know and love you, they'll love your assistant just as much because they're an extension of you. Eventually what'll happen is your assistant hired will go, I need to get licensed because you can't do all this.
Yeah.
Now they're enrolling in their LOA, meaning their commissions flow to you. Now you've just doubled yourself.
Yeah.
So for every about 350, 400 clients, you need to hire one LOA. And then you're into a business ownership thing where you're paying salaries. If you got people on W-2, you got to look at health insurance, and that's where things change for you. And it takes a few years, but it's completely worth it.
Yeah.
Because again, you get to provide jobs, and The people that you're going to pay $45,000, $50,000 a year is a great salary for somebody. They don't want the stress of commission only that you have. They're happy to work that entire book of business. As long as you pay them every 2 weeks, they'll do anything you want,
Yeah.
But think how cool it is to have 2,000 clients, but you've employed 7 people. I just think that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's, what's kind of really cool is I just had, who's really kind of always been my main right hand, Rachel. She had a birthday, just turned 40. And when they were doing her lunch, she said that she started when she was 19 years old with me.
Wow.
In the mortgage industry. Right. And then followed us over to insurance. And then same thing with Tracy. Tracy actually started before her. And so to have that longevity, and then I think Aracelli's been here probably 14 or 15 years. We've got a couple other people that haven't been here quite as long, but it's cool when you can kind of build that environment.
Yeah. And those people want you to win.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? They want you, the business owner who is pouring money to them, they want you to be so successful it hurts. And they're willing to go to bat for you.
Yeah.
And because we take a lot of risk as a business owner, a lot of risk, right? We put a lot of capital. We're putting everything that we have. And I say this, from my time at my previous company, I'd make a $500,000 decision like it was nothing. But when it's your own cash,
yeah,
it's writing $10,000 check is hard.
Yeah.
It just changes. And most people can't handle that stress when it's their own cash. And so as business owners, we deserve, I truly believe we put it all out on the line. We deserve to be paid and be paid well. But for me, it's always been about how many jobs can I provide in my local market.
That's awesome.
And so when I was at my previous company and they're like, hey, go hire all these people. I'm like, you're going to give me the ability to go hire people? I was like, you get a job. I was like Oprah with jobs. You know what I mean? I was hiring people left and right. You guys gave the guy without a high school degree the ability to, pay up to $60,000 a year. Everybody got a job. But it ended up working out because people were so excited because they wanted that place to work and they wanted that environment that it really just gelled really well. And that's why we grew really fast. And so when we'd have people, my way of recruiting to the home office is I'd sit down with them for 5 or 10 minutes and I say, look, I can make this sound like sunshine and rainbows in here. It's not. We got a lot of work to do. I'm actually going to bring you to some other people that are working in here right now. Go hang out with them for 5 or 10 minutes and ask them what it's really like. And I'd go make another phone call in the middle of the time. I'd call Adam and be like, hey, what's that about? How's your day? And by the time I got back over there, the people were like, I want to work here, because the people that were working there really enjoyed it because they had that camaraderie in that team.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
How many employees were in there? Do you know, or roughly?
At the main home office, I think we had a little over 50, but I'd say all employees was a little over 100 across the country. It grew really rapidly.
How many LOA agents do they have?
Man, a lot. Well over 500.
Wow.
Well over 500. Yeah. LOA was the way. There was something called a heat model on the Medicare side. I'm not sure if you're aware how that works, but you basically have to be LOA. So it's kind of like a way to get a final expense agent to do Medicare, right? Because final expense agents need that go money. I call it their crack, but they need the upfront money to keep it moving. And when you say, hey, you can make all this renewal, well, how am I going to survive, right? And so we would say, hey, we'll pay you $800 every application you do, but you have no renewal on the Medicare side. And people are like, yeah, I'll do that all day long because the cost per acquisition, they'd be telephonic enrollments, would be between $80 to $150 per enrollment.
Wow.
The problem, so we pay $800. The problem with Medicare is if you write a policy in July or August, the commissions are prorated. And so that $300 that you're supposed to be paid, you'd get $90 in July. Then when January hits is when you start getting that per month thing.
Gotcha.
So if it costs you $125 to make a sale, but you make $90 in July, you're losing money for every application you do, right? And so these big call center operators were like, we're losing cash. Well, we'd become the financiers. We'd pay $800 to $1,000 an application, but we own the book of business.
Gotcha.
So after 18 months, you're printing money.
Yeah.
Printing money. It's printing money, right? Printing money. And then our job, because we own the book of business, our job was to keep up with that book of business, meaning like keep it on the books. So then my job, again, I had to build all these systems, is I'd hire people here locally and I would train them to just be service-oriented people. And I'd say, hey, one of your jobs every single day is just to call one of the clients Doesn't need to be your favorite person, but just a random client. Just get them on the phone and go, hey, I was just thinking about you. I wanted to see how you're doing. And seniors love to talk. They'd sit there and chat with them for 25, 30 minutes. And they'd go, and their closing line would be like, hey, I don't want to get in trouble. You know, my boss is watching. We've been chatting for like 25, 30 minutes. Is there any other insurance you were thinking about? And they go, actually, I was just thinking about this. And then we'd sell them products. Again, it was all LOA. So we'd retain that book of business. We would also cross sell through that retention side. So
Nice.
we vertically integrated the whole thing, right? And that was the trick to make gobs of cash for that company.
So were they getting all those service people? They were getting them life license and health license as well.
You got it.
So they can just take care of it all in one shot while they're on the phone with them right then and there.
Yep. Hey, did Adam tell you about the, hey, this is, Mary over at, I'm not going to say the company's name. Adam sold you that Medicare plan. It looks like he got you onto the Humana HMO plan. Is that correct? Yeah, that's new one. Okay, just making sure. Did you get your cards? Yeah, I got those cards in the mail. Okay. Did you need help activating those cards or learning how to use those cards? We're here for. We're here to help. No, I don't need help with there. Well, did he talk to you about the gaps in those plans? Again, bringing up that hospital indemnity. Oh, you know how Adam is, man. Sometimes he's just so fast. He's helping so many people on the Medicare side. He forgets to add these things. Let me go ahead and quote you out and see what that's going to be. 10% of the time.
Just a lay down.
Did he talk to you anything about the life insurance options that we have here? No. Yeah, man, we're going to have to fire Adam. Jokingly, ha, 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 we're going to have to fire Adam. Let's go ahead and get you, wrecked up. Do you have any life insurance? I do have life insurance. Okay, who's it through? So it's just learning how to have that, it's kind of like a script, right? Once you have that script down and you get the people quoting, the only way sales happen is if people get quoted.
Yeah.
And I've learned it from myself too, because now I'm on the FMO side where I'm like getting direct contract with the carriers, and not all of them are direct, but I don't personally have time to go out and sell the way that I used to. Right. And I'm sure you're the same way, but I have great products. And so a lot of times my sales come from agents, right? Because they're coming in and they're looking at these products, and I'm going, hey man, while you're here, I'm going to go ahead and quote you for my favorite insurance product. What state are you in? They're like, this. I'll quote them right then and there myself. And they're like, that's actually a really good policy. I'm like, I know. That's why it's my favorite. I want to get you contracted, but let's go ahead and sign you up.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's kind of like I wanted to create a place for me at the insurance platform that was a way for me to make sales and recruit, but also, a way to make sales too. So half the leads right now that come in through my system are agents wanting to sell the product, and the other half end up being clients that are interested in the product.
Nice. What are you guys doing to differentiate? So, and tell me, like, when did you start the insurance platform?
March of 24 is when I started, March 24 is when I decided to, February of 24 is when I decided to leave my current place, and I thought I was going to be done with the insurance business altogether. It's when I had people like you, when I had insurance companies, like presidents of insurance companies, call me and say, hey, Matthew, will you take a direct contract and work with us? That I was like, oh, okay. Thank you, God. I know what God looks like when it's right in front of me. It's, I know what my blessing was, right? I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be in the insurance business. Not many people get to go direct to the carriers, and less people get asked to go direct, right? So it was March of 24, and I just had a lot of relationships, people that would have worked with me over the years that were like, hey, I'm so glad that you're finally out on your own. I want to work with you.
Yeah.
And so we just had a lot of agents, on board really quickly. The problem was transparency. I had no idea, I came into a thing that was kind of already established, right?
Yeah.
So I had to go get licensed in every single state, because I had telesales people who are doing, in 47 states. So I have to get myself, Matthew Murray, licensed in that state, and then the agency license in that state too. I don't know if you know anything about California, Adam, but it freaking sucks getting the, your non-resident approved.
Live here, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go on Twitter or X and basically call out the Department of Insurance just to get a call.
Wow.
Which is a way to do it, in case anybody's watching. Just get a call because, we have insurance in our name, the insurance platform, and you can't have the insurance in your name in the state of California as a non-resident. So it was like a really backwards thing we had to do. It was really odd, but, I had all these people that wanted to work with me, but I wasn't ready, and I'm a single dude, and I'm like, where do I start? And then, marketing department, this is Matthew Murray. Contracting department, this is Matthew Murray. Sales department, that solo entrepreneur thing that you have to do is really tough on your mental psyche. And it was on mine. And thankfully, a lot of the people that knew that I had a whole team with me at my previous company, and they were like, okay, we know you're new at this. We're willing to work with you. And then we've had Brittany, who I think you've worked with a little bit, Adam, and she's been with me for 5 years. So she's kind of like your Rachel in a way. I think it's Rachel, right?
Rachel,
Said
yeah.
Same way. She like, she's worked with me for a long time, and she knows how I am and how I am as a person. And she's just fantastic. So she's really stepped up in a lot of the way on the contracting side and all the paperwork stuff, because I suck at paperwork.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So, she's been a big help. But March is when we started. And right now, we're out 650 agents nationwide.
Nice.
Give or take. And, they don't have all their contracts with us. They have a few contracts. But, I'm very thankful for what we have so far. And we've just been growing, man. It's been a blessing.
That's freaking awesome. Now, how much of what you guys are doing, because if you're doing over the phone and you're doing face to face, how many of your of your field agents are running Facebook leads, or are they only primarily running direct mail, or how do you approach that with a new agent?
I want them to do direct mail as soon as possible. My goal is to get them. The problem with Facebook leads is it's an instant. It's kind of like, how do I say this? You've cooked chili, right? I'm assuming you've cooked chili in your day. Do you think that you can tell the difference when you cook chili in the microwave versus a crock pot?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Cooking chili in the microwave, those are your Facebook leads. Make it a lot faster. It's not going to be as great. If I can get you to get on that slow cooker, if I can get you on that crock pot, ooey gooey goodness from day one, that's where I need you to be. And so we've got aged leads, right? Leads that have never been seen before. Man, I've got about 150 if anybody wants to get to Wilmington or Murrayville and come work with me for a couple of days, because I order these leads myself to go run, but can't do it. I want to get them on that as soon as possible. The problem with Facebook direct mail leads is it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to get you your first lead. And so it's really hard for me to go, hey, Adam, really happy you're on board. We can't wait out a whole business plan for you. I'm going to need about $2,000 up front and $600 a week for the next until forever to get you rolling. Well, what do you do for those 6 weeks to make it? That's where we'll introduce the Facebook leads, or we'll introduce age leads. I'm like, hey, these are the worst of the worst. These are going to be the hardest leads you ever work. When your fresh direct mail leads come in and you've got about 4 to 5 weeks worth of crappy leads or like hard leads to work, when you get these fresh leads, you're going to be a hardened warrior.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do get the fresh leads, everybody's going to be picking up the phone. You're going to be like, this is crazy good. Why is this so easy? So I try to get people on the fresh stuff as fast, direct mail as fresh, as fast as possible. But we have age direct mail and we have Facebook leads that I can generate at even a local level. And I don't charge anything extra for the leads for my agents. If it costs me $15, I'm charging the $16 because I got to pay taxes.
Yeah. What are they typically seeing what do you see when people are door knocking a Facebook lead? What kind of conversion rates are they seeing? They get 100 leads. How many policies should they sell?
About 15 to 20.
So they're still getting like a 15% conversion minimum?
Yeah, about 15% conversion minimum. Yeah. I'd say that direct mail, our total conversion is probably closer to 30 to 35% of all leads. There's some leads that'll never pick up the phone. They'll never open the door, right? Direct mail, the reason direct mail is good is because the shelf life is longer, right? It's something physical too. The ones that we get, this is the actual piece of paper that the person put in the mail. I'm not going to show it to you, but this is it's got their wet signature on it. It's not a PDF. It's not like I transpose the data, because anybody could just take data and put it on a spreadsheet and make it look like you filled something out. But, whether you think you remember you did it or not, even if you did it 6 months ago, if I hand you a piece of paper with your signature on it in your handwriting, you're going to go, all right, you got me.
Yeah. Yep.
You got me. I did it, and so the conversion rate's just higher on direct mail. Facebook leads, you got to work them a little bit harder, and speed to lead is important. That,
100%.
Doing the phone before, we don't remember what you saw on your own Facebook this morning, probably. So what's to say a client's going to remember what they filled on their Facebook 60 minutes ago?
Yeah. I think they said if you don't contact them the first 5 minutes or 3 minutes, the conversion goes down like 500%. It's a big deal.
Yeah. But again, the way I teach door knocking, you can take that same Facebook lead. Hey, you were on Facebook the other day, and I tell my agents, like, hey, you're on Facebook the other day and you're scrolling through your Facebook and you saw an advertisement for state regulated final expense programs or final expense programs. You said your favorite color is blue. Yeah. I'm like, I tried calling you on the number that you put down, but you're like most people, you don't answer numbers you don't know, do you? No. Okay, great. I'm the guy that's going to get the information to you. It's going to be about 5 or 10 minutes. Go ahead and knock it out. So I keep my door knocking very simple because I'm working about getting you in the door. Once I get past those 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches, which is the door frame, now it's a totally different game.
Yeah, 100%. People that get good at the door, and that's what I mean. Literally, our script is super similar. You send it in. Company asks me to come out and see you. May I come in? Real simple. And there's only going to be a handful of things they can tell you. And if you know how to overcome a few objections at the door, most people, like you said, they ordered the pizza, so they're taking it.
You did this. I mean, I'm just the delivery guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know it sounds like, so simple, but like your job is to, and one of my friends who, I don't know if you've talked to him or not, but his name's Nick Frumpkin. Every direct mail lead, every lead that is filled out is an absolute laydown. You just have to learn how to not screw it up.
Yeah. I like that.
You just got to figure out what it is. I don't want to say, why did you fill this out, Adam? I want to say, here's a couple reasons why people filled this out. Which one is you? Which path are we going today? Because there's only a few options.
100%.
Let's figure out what's going on with you so we can dive in. People have a term policy that's expiring. They have a UL policy that's going upside down. Now these, because of Kyle Busch, suing Pacific Life, these IULs are going, that's going to be bonkers right now.
Yeah.
They borrow money on their policy, and now it's going to go, away, and they've got to figure something out. And, they saw your piece of mail. Hey, well, how you get to that information, you got to get good at. But once you learn how to get to that information, okay, so that's what we're trying to fix. Now it's a puzzle piece. Now I know what I need to do to fix this problem that you have.
Yeah. Well, that's what we've always trained. We use a survey when you sit down. The first thing you do is, right, you got to ask these 10 questions, right? Basically the same things you're asking on your mail piece. Because again, you got to put them back in that same state of mind of when they mailed it in, because it might have been 3 weeks ago, right? So let's take them back to whenever they took the time to do that.
That's right. Yeah, I'm getting them to remember what they did, therefore why they did it.
Yeah. Now, how do you handle, because I've never worked a Walmart gift card lead. How do you give everybody a Walmart gift card, every person that you talk to?
Yeah, I wish I had, I do it a couple ways, right? Because people fill it out for the Walmart gift card, right? But they also are interested in your insurance, right? They know that no one's walking around just giving out Walmart gift cards all day long. They would hope so, but they know. We all know, right? I'll have the Walmart gift cards with me, and I'll put the direct mail piece down. I'll put some Walmart gift cards to the side, and I say, we're going to get those later. Those are Walmart gift cards. Remember that thing that you filled out for the Walmart gift cards? We're going to get those later. Now, there's a ton of them in there. I don't know which ones are which. Some of them are more, some of them are less. But when we get done, I can fold them out like a magic man. You pick a card, whichever one you want. It doesn't matter to me. And I have them between $5 to $20 a piece. Which one do you want? Whether they buy from me or not.
Yeah.
If someone's willing to give me the time of day and they know it's about insurance and all that. Now, sometimes when it gets to people like, I just filled it out for the Walmart gift card. Just give me that. You know what? Take it. Here you go. But a lot of times the Walmart gift card isn't even brought up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of times I have to be like, hey, we forgot about the fun part of my job, which is like giving you the Walmart gift card. Here you go. Which one do you want?
How much do you spend on Walmart gift cards a month?
Probably $200.
$200. Okay.
200 to $400.
You go to Walmart and get them, or you order them online?
We order them online because we like to bulk order them, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier on your credit card statements. So you're not going like every couple of days and like just, because it's harder for your tax purposes to like, what is Walmart for? But if you can go to Walmart.com and order a bunch of them, have them shipped straight to you, and you can just put it on your credit card statement for like $400 for this amount.
Yeah.
And I'll, most of mine are going to be $5, but I'll put some 10s and I'll put some 20s because I really like to.
Yeah.
I like giving out money. You know what I mean? Like, I really get to be the guy that gives out cash. It's so much fun to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I teach people. I'm like, you get to have a little bit of fun doing this business if you allow yourself to.
Yeah.
If you overthink it and you're like so worried, you're not going to have a good time. But like you and me, we get to be the guy that helps people out with their insurance. I get to be the guy that gives out a Walmart gift card. Like, hey, what do you do for your job? I give out Walmart gift cards. What? Doesn't even make sense. What? The Walmart gift card is going to increase the return rate on the direct mail piece.
What are you seeing on that current piece? Was that one at 1% or is it higher than that? 3%?
3% big dog.
There you go.
My leads are caught. I've seen in Savannah, Georgia, I had a girl that got a 5% return.
Wow.
So for everybody that's not good at math like me sometimes, we pay $6.75 per thousand because again, mine's a full page in color It's not, let's not like one of these, right? So I'm paying a little bit more. I'm paying for first class postage. So it's cost me about $675 per 1,000. So if I got 30 leads that came back, or 3%, that means I got 30 leads, right? So I just take that 675 and divide it by 30. That's $22.50 a lead.
Wow. Didn't you say earlier $40, or what leads were you guys seeing at 40?
I was talking about, normal everyday leads. Mine,
Standard. You're saying like just a standard mail piece?
yeah, your standard, right? I'm getting mine anywhere between, $28 to, say if you've got for every lead that comes in, it's just decreasing that amount. But the girl that they got us 5% return divided by 50, I mean, she paid $13 a lead.
Wild for direct mail.
For a fresh direct mail.
Yeah.
That's and wild. The people have a signature. There's a signature portion on there. So they sign it. You know what I mean? Because I want people getting used to signing. I'm like, hey, just like you sign there, sign here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And my whole job is as an IMO, as an FMO, or as I like to call myself, as an FFO, right? We're a field first organization. The IMO in IMO stands for Independent Marketing Organization. A big part of my job is marketing. We want to be independent in our marketing. My job is to try to create more opportunities for you, the agent, to sit down with the maximum amount of people. If I have the best opportunity for you to sit down and have conversations with the maximum amount of people, I know that even if you suck, if you see more people than everybody else, you're going to make money. And over time, here's the secret, you'll suck less. You're going to suck less. You're going to suck when you first start. I sucked.
Yeah.
Adam probably sucked. No one walked into this and like just the savant at selling final expense, right?
Yeah.
There's no one out there. You have weeks where you suck probably, but 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now,
you're a different person.
You're an animal, right?
Yep.
And the trick is you're seeing the same 15 to 18 people. You're seeing the same amount of people every single week, but your closing percentage gets better because you get better. When your closing percent goes from 30% to 50%, the world opens up for you. The amount of money that you're making is insane.
Man, so the insurance platform, who is the ideal agent? Anybody that's watching this that wants to come work with you, who is a good fit for your organization?
It would be, man, that's a good question. It would be a telesales agent who is realizing that they kind of feel like they're in an episode of Workaholics, so they feel like they're in a call center, right? Like sit down, shut up, sit here, wait for the phone to ring, right? And they don't want to be that, and they want to go see people. If you're a people person, I can teach you to be wildly successful at the insurance platform. If you want to learn the field, that's the right person for me. If you're a final expense agent that's just doing final expense and you want to learn how to do some other products, I'm going to stretch you a little bit. Your brain's going to hurt because my brain hurt when I first started learning all this other stuff. And you want to get in the Medicare side, that's a great agent for us too.
Yeah. That's awesome. What does 2026 look like for you guys?
Yeah, a lot of recruiting on the Medicare side, and we're going to be doing a lot more field work. So right now, I got some agencies to work with that are all telesales, but we're seeing that switch. I think more and more people are going to be going into the field.
See more people going back on the field.
Yeah.
What's the big fallout on the Medicare side?
Right now, some Medicare plans are going non-commissionable, right? So again, let's just say that you've got an agent that had 4,000 apps on the file expense side, and they've got 800 clients on the Medicare side. There's some plans that are going non-commissionable. That means that if Mary doesn't switch into a plan that is commissionable, you, the agent, aren't getting paid, right? But also there's marketing dollars that are passed down in the insurance business, and the world of transparency is here. And so people know about marketing dollars, people are learning about it. And there's some FMOs that just take all these marketing dollars and just go buy Ferraris and houses and stuff for themselves and don't give it out to the agents who are producing applications. And so it happens every single year. Around this time, January, February, that's when you should start looking to find a new home in the Medicare side. And it's a big opportunity for agencies like us who are doing the right thing, who are passing through the marketing dollars, saying, hey, here's what we got. We got $1 million, right? You're doing 10% of our applications for the year. Here's $100,000. Go. Pass it through, right? But we still need we want the applications. We still need the applications.
Yeah.
The other big fallout is, maybe I should not get into that one right here. There's two big conglomerations happening in the marketplace, right? And everybody's contract somehow flows up to them in some way, shape, or form. I want the insurance platform to be a third option. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when people find out, hey, I don't want to be with company A or company I, people can read between the lines here. I don't want to be with them. I don't like that I am stuck with them. Who do I go to? I want the insurance platform to be a household name for those agents. But the insurance platform is also a really cool name from the SEO side, where it's a place where consumers can come and learn about insurance in a very simplistic way.
Nice.
I've built and if you want me to, I can share the website, but we're a regular office. We work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, right? And we don't have a brick and mortar office, but I've got a virtual office that when people can go to, they click a button and they get transported into something just like this, to where all of a sudden they're talking to a real human, right? And people have insurance questions. And I want the insurance platform to be a place where people can come ask their questions. And when people ask questions, usually they're going to buy something. Right.
Yeah.
And so I've got it to where it's a place for agents and agencies to come place their contracts with, but it's a place where people can come learn about their insurance and they don't feel like they're asking stupid questions, or
Yeah.
they can ask their questions to someone who's going to break it down in a simplistic way. So I'm kind of building this, virtual office to where clients can come in and be like, hey, what questions do you have? And like, oh, I have a question about my Medicare. Okay, let me transport you over to Adam, or I have a question about final expense. Let me transfer you over to Adam's office real quick, and I'm going to introduce you. So then, my assistant will come into your office, be like, hey, Adam, are you available? And you're like, yeah, what's up? Like, I got Mary Jones here. She asked some questions about final expense. I know you're the go-to guy. And you're like, okay, how can I help? And now that person's just like me and you,
Yeah.
talking face to face, and we're having a conversation.
That's awesome. What would be some of the biggest takeaways that you've seen coming from, $100 million exit to how you're building your platform different?
Ask that question again, mainly to give me time, but I want to make sure I heard it right.
So like basically from getting to see like the growth, right? Like a company that, they sold for 100 million, and then now being able to build your own. What are some maybe key things that, you kind of want to differentiate, or maybe that you learned in that process? Because I'm sure anybody when you get that big, you're going to have growing pains, and you're going to have things that you didn't think of, whenever they probably made that exit.
Sure. A really good question. One of the things that I learned, that growth at an exponential scale like we went through is not always a great thing. And a lot of times it felt like we were, building on sand, not just because we were in Wilmington, North Carolina on the beach, but because we were growing too fast. Our agent count went like this. Our agent count went like this, but our home office staff was going like this.
Yeah.
Right. And so the support that they would get was less and less, because there's only so much of a person that can be given out. Right. And so I'm even experiencing a little bit myself that, like, we're having 650 agents, is a lot of agents, right? Now, they don't all sit there and talk to me all day long, right? They have their, their own IMOs that they're dealing with, and some of those IMOs just have their contracts with us. But like, I want to make sure that as we grow, I've got systems in place that are working and working well, that don't break, and that no matter what happens, there's somebody there to take care of these things. I would say that if looking back, we grew way too fast and we got into too many things too quickly, and we weren't able to sustain what we would tell we can do for somebody.
Mhm.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you're coming on board. Great. Like, come to the door. Let's get you contracted. Well, you, the agency owner, has got 500 agents that are coming on board with us, kind of expecting like a red carpet, thing. We gave you the red carpet, but like after that, like, there's a lot of after work that needs to be done for contracting.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, what's next? Like, I'm ready to make these moves. Well, I'm busy rolling out the red carpet for the next 500 man agency. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if we don't have the people to support that growth, I'm not going to say it's going to fail, right? Because I think they're doing fine. I'm not there anymore, but I foresaw it to where there's only so much that I could have done as a person, right? And I already had a lot on my plate. I had a lot of relationships with the agencies we work with. So I'd say that the people that I'm bringing on, the agencies that I'm bringing on, they have to know that we are a smaller IMO, that we are growing, right? And that we're in the first 2 years of our business. And so pretty much everything that we make goes right back into the business. And it's until I've got this, influx of cash that I can go hire things. And I'm doing it all bootstrap. I don't have lack of a better word, a small $1 million loan from my father when I first got started in business, or I don't have an SBA loan. It's just everything's backed on what Matthew Murray has brought to the table. And it's tough, right? And we're starting, it's kind of like a hockey stick effect, where you'll start to see that. And we're kind of like right there, right before it kind of takes off. That makes sense. But as it's taking off, I mean, this as well as I do, it's just about pouring back into your business and hiring more people.
100%, man.
And that's what entrepreneurship is for. Is like living in this world where, you know, you don't really know what you're doing until you exit one day and you're like, you made 100 million bucks. Right. And so, my goal is, if I had to think about it, five. There's people that have been doing this business for a long time, big IMOs, these big regimes, they have to retire. And the carriers, they're looking for forethought leaders, prognosticators, if you will, that are kind of foreseeing and kind of emerging. And I want to be one of those people that are the next structured leader in the business. I want the insurance platform to be that.
That's awesome, man. That's
That's
awesome.
the goal. That's the goal.
Well, and we'll definitely share your website. And then what's the best way for people to get in contact with you, or your preferred method? I mean, 650 agents, you got a lot going on. Is there a calendar link that you normally like to share or something like that we'd be able to put whenever we post this video out?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'd say the best way is, like I said, we're a normal everyday office. So Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, if you want to jump in, you might be jumping into a call with 15 other people. We're having a conversation and you might just be thrown into the insurance platform. And then after that call, you're like, hey, do you have a few minutes? Yeah, let's walk over to my office and let's have a conversation. That and email. I'd usually give out my phone number, but Adam, as well as I got 506 messages today. Not today, but like on my phone, I have 506 unread. I'm not that great at responding to text anymore. I'd say that I have to make sure that, how do I say this? I'm not making myself available for every single person that calls, because what I've found, Adam, is most people will take information from you to see how much they can get from you without putting anything back.
Yeah.
And so I've put a little bit of a barrier to myself.
Yeah. Good for you.
And I made myself available as much as possible on that 9 to 5 schedule. But after that, people that are paying me, yeah, I'm gonna put a little bit more prioritization to those people, but emailing for sure. And then we'll schedule some time. You'll work with my assistant, Brittany, to set up some time to talk with me for 15, 20 minutes. And we'll have that one-on-one if you want to. And I'd be glad to. I've learned over time, my role in the insurance business is to have those one-on-ones with the agents. It's what I'm good at, because I've been the door knocking agent. Like, I've done literally every part of this business.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on where someone's at, I can kind of figure out where you need to go next, and I can kind of help you.
That's awesome.
Drive it. Even if you're not doing business with me, I'd like to still help you, but I can only do so much.
What about for people that are maybe independent, or maybe they're not in a spot to leave where they're currently at? Do you offer anything on the marketing side as far as helping people that want to generate Facebook leads or direct mail or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a marketing university where I teach people how to do their own marketing, but I want to make sure it's unfortunately clear. I won't do it for you, right? Because if I do it for you, you haven't learned anything.
Mm-hmm.
My goal in my university is to teach you to be independent so you can stop paying me.
Yeah.
So I have a university that we have a call every single Tuesday that we jump on. And sometimes I'll have one person on, like today I had one guy on, and we learned something that I've been doing Facebook marketing for 8 years, guys. I learned something today that I've never learned before, and it blew my mind. Just one person, but one other person learned it. And sometimes I'll have 50 people on that call.
Yeah.
And that's my university. If you'd like to join that, you're more than welcome to. And I'm going to teach you I talked about a little bit when I was first showing you how people's eyes work. I go to that deep level of marketing, and really my job is to go inside that brain of yours and unlock that part that gets you to understand that you too can see it in a different light. But I'm not going to give you a copy and pasted ad, because that ad will work today. It won't work 3 months from now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach you how to fish. That's what my university's for.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, ton of great gold nuggets, man. I'm excited for the insurance platform, what you guys are doing over there. It's definitely very inspiring. You're a great dude, man. Me and you've always clicked really, really well. And I'm rooting heavy for your success, your continued success, and anything I can ever do in the future to help. I hope you let me know. And I know that you're going to help a ton of agents along the way, and I'm excited to see that.
Absolutely, man. Well, Adam, I appreciate your time today and the invite to come on here, man. It really means something to me.
For sure. All right, brother.
All right. Thanks, man.